He's a friend, got an opportunity to show that he can be a great coach, and he's not afraid, because if you're afraid, you buy a dog. And Mark Jackson, Golden State Warriors head coach, back on the program. How are you?
Everything's great. Thanks again for having me, and you know I have 3 dogs.
No, you don't need dogs. All right?
Yes, sir.
You got to get this right. You buy dogs if you're afraid. So don't admit you have dogs.
But you got to get it right. I'm so not afraid that I have 3.
All right.
You'll get it one day.
Okay, I will. Yesterday's poll question. Flopping is smart or soft?
I think it's both. I think the guys have gotten so good at it. They've used it as, strategy to, refereeing has become even tougher because you've got to be able to break down whether it was real or not. But I think it's a combination. Sometimes it's strategy and sometimes it's flat out soft.
But here's my poll question today. What if I said you get accused of flopping, you sit down for 2 minutes, a 5-on-4 advantage? How do you think that would go over in the NBA, and would it put an end to flopping?
It may put an end to flopping, but I don't think it works because, this is a different sport than hockey. In hockey, it works with an advantage for the team not flopping. But I think, guys are doing it to sell plays because sometimes it actually occurs, the contact. But what guys are doing is they're selling the play even more so to show it. But we have the best referees in the land. We just got to trust that, they'll get the calls right, and, they do.
Would you have called that 6th foul on LeBron in Game 4?
Tough play. Obviously, there was contact. We've seen a lot of times where that's, not called. But I think it's, at the end of the day, it's a foul on him, and the correct call was made.
Would that have been called on Jordan?
We've seen calls made on Jordan. I don't know if you know, I got fined $25,000, for attempting, they say, to influence the referee. So I think Michael Jordan got calls against him the same way.
Wait, you were fined? How did you try to influence the officials?
Well, that's a whole different topic. I mean, they said it because I said I forgot what it was, being quite honest, but in the playoff series, that's neither here nor there.
Oh,
yeah.
Leave it alone. Oh, well, you brought it up. I didn't.
No, because I can't go. I'm not going to go to LeBron, Michael Jordan, and whether it was a call or not. I mean, I got kids going to school, man. What are you doing? I thought we were friends.
How do you pay the $25,000?
I don't know. It comes out of the check. I don't mean to say it like it's nothing, but that'll take care of itself because obviously I didn't think I did anything wrong.
But do you write a check, or they just take it like you have direct?
No, I'm not Dan Patrick. I can't just write a check like that. I gotta move and shuffle some things.
I can write them. Can you write them and cover them? That's the key. All right, you wrote an article for Sports Illustrated. You were talking about LeBron James, and did you say LeBron is the best point guard in the NBA?
If he played the point guard position and there was a draft, I'm taking him with the number 1 pick. He's that good. In my opinion, he's going to be a top 5 assist man in the history of the game.
But is he a point guard, though, Mark? Would you consider LeBron James a point guard?
I would consider LeBron James the best player in the world and a guy that can play any position he wants. And whatever position he decides to play, he's the best player at that position in the game. So he has the size, the ability.
Wait. If he was playing center, would he be the best center in the NBA?
That's a great question. You went to the one that probably is the biggest stretch, but his size makes a difference. So I would not take him with the number 1 pick if it was strictly centers on the board. But he is that good. Like I said, he's going to be a top 5 assist man to ever play the game. He's going to be the leading scorer in the history of the game. Today, in my opinion, he's the best small forward that's ever played the game. The guy, we've seen nothing like him. So it's incredible what he's able to do on the floor and hurt you in so many different ways.
Would he be recognized as better than Magic Johnson if he played the point guard position?
Well, to me, Magic Johnson is the greatest point guard that's ever played the game. And I'm not going to go that far because LeBron doesn't have a body of work at playing the point guard position like Magic does. But if LeBron James strictly played the point guard position, his ability to do everything across the board separates him from anybody else. Make plays, score, defend. He's just that good.
He's Mark Jackson, Golden State Warriors head coach, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. If you were going to build a team around anybody, Phil Jackson said Bill Russell, but you can build a team around anybody, current or former, who would you start with?
Well, I heard Phil make his statements, and I can't argue with him going with Bill Russell. I was probably shocked that he didn't go with one of the two guys that impacted him and he coached. In my opinion, if I had to go with any player to start a team that's ever played this game, I'm going with Michael Jordan.
Well, don't you think Phil shied away from that because he had gotten into this, what Mike does better than Kobe, and he just didn't want to go there again? So you can sort of go with a benign answer and say Bill Russell. You can't go wrong with Bill Russell. It's hard to argue that because the greatest, team winner in sports history. But I think he purposely shied away from another Kobe-Michael Jordan showdown.
Are you trying to say he played you?
No, he didn't play me. He played the rest of the media. I saw right through it, Mark.
Okay. Well, I agree with that. He probably, knowing Phil and how he thinks things through, he probably was a step ahead, understanding that people wanted to, find out whether it be Michael or Kobe, and he went with Russell. But if it's me, I'm going with Michael Jordan because he was, he's that great of a player, and I witnessed it firsthand.
We had another poll question. I don't know if you're allowed to answer this. I never know, and I hate when you guys get fined when you come on this show and you're honest. But if I said Dwight Howard or Joakim Noah to start your team with, hypothetical.
Dwight Howard. He's the best center in the game.
But
so I don't even think that's fair to Joakim Noah, and he's a heck of a player. Dwight Howard's body of work, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Joakim Noah has work to do to still get there.
Yeah, but this is a guy who's going to get you double digits rebounds, and he'll give you a 12, 10. He makes free throws. He hustles. He's not high maintenance.
You're trying to sell to me. You're not going to twist my arm and make me change.
Okay.
In the off year, the guy averaged 17 and 12. He's that good of a player. He's the best center in the game, and he'll be in the Hall of Fame one day.
Your Pacers, chances of winning this series with the Miami Heat. What's it come down to?
Well, allow me to help you. It's my Warriors, first of all.
well, they were your Pacers, too. Well, in fact, you play with a lot of teams, Mark.
They take shots at me. I'll say what they got to do. They made this series very interesting. And the one thing that's impressive about them, they're well coached. They compete. They're physical. They're not going to back down. As Hibbert said, they're not going anywhere. And basically every game is, displayed that to us. But at the end of the day, I think Miami is going to try to disrupt them defensively. The adjustment that they made ultimately, at home was they got into them. And game 3 in Indiana, they got into them, and they disrupt what the Pacers were trying to do. The Pacers are going to have to meet force with force, look to be aggressive, look to attack, and allow their game to travel. They got to defend with the right mindset and then be aggressive because the Heat are going to try to disrupt them.
I'm also amazed at the reaction. Whenever somebody sees the Spurs advance, when they win, people cringe. Why is that people don't, the respect for the Spurs, don't want to see them, don't think they're exciting? I don't know what it is. But I said I marvel at what this franchise has been able to do for 15 years. Amazing what they've been able to do.
It is absolutely unbelievable. I said it before. Coach Popovich, in my opinion, is one of the greatest coaches in the history of professional sports or sports in general. And I don't want to minimize it to just the NBA. He's that great of a coach. He's been able to, keep this team relevant, consistent over the long haul. He's been able to shuffle role players and allow guys to buy in. Obviously, it starts with your best player in Duncan, but Ginobili and Parker are two guys that's also going to be in the Hall of Fame. It's been incredible. And to me, it's a great brand of basketball. Probably early on, you look at it and say, man, nobody wants to see the Spurs. I mean, early on because of the way they played. But if you can't sit back and appreciate their brand of basketball, their style of basketball, their professionalism, their passion, their consistency, then you're really not a basketball fan in general.
Best high school player you ever saw?
LeBron James.
Best high school player you played against?
Pearl Washington.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a bad, bad man. And, I mean, there was some things he could do on the floor that had everybody, pretty rattled. He was that good.
But what was it about Pearl who couldn't shoot?
He couldn't shoot, but he can get anywhere he wanted to on the floor. He had size. He had strength. He was slick with the basketball, deceptive, had a deceptive speed also, but he was extremely confident. He knew he was the best player in the gym, and night in and night out, he showed it. It was incredible to see and to play against him. And the tragedy of it all is getting to the NBA. What people don't realize is you got to believe that whether it's high school, college, pros, it doesn't matter. It's the same rules, the same guys. You can't lose confidence. And I thought at some point with the Nets, he lost a little bit of his confidence, lost his edge, and didn't have the type of career that so many projected him to have.
Kenny Smith was on. He said Kenny Anderson was the best player he saw in high school, that he would actually, when he was a senior at North Carolina, he was an All-American Player of the Year, and he would drive home. He wanted to see Kenny Anderson play high school basketball games.
I was almost tempted to hang up on you and call Kenny because Kenny stayed, for 4 years. So I'm a little upset that he didn't pick me. No, Kenny Anderson was a tremendous high school player and had an impact from day one. To start as a freshman, to be one of the greatest high school players in the history of New York State basketball. But Kenny Smith was a heck of a player himself.
Yeah. Did you ever play West Fourth, the cage?
Of course. In New York City, you got to play all over the city. And
did you play there?
People hanging on the cages and trash talking, and I mean, those were great battles.
But it took me 2 hours to get into a game there, because you know how guys are when they're dribbling the ball down at the court and then they're losing and they say, "I got next," and so I'm the only white guy there, and so I finally said, "I'm playing on somebody's team here." So I finally got to play, and we were one and done at the cage. But, I wanted to play, and Sweet Pea was playing.
There's another great high school player.
Yeah, Lloyd Daniels was playing.
Quick story, I win Rookie of the Year. I go back to my neighborhood. I'm playing in the park. A guy walks up with a jacket and a hat tilted to the back, and he wants to play next. I'm like, who is this clown? The guy played, was the best player on the floor, didn't miss a shot, kept his jacket and his hat on, and it was Lloyd Sweet Pea Daniels. He was that good.
So you were Rookie of the Year in the NBA, and you go home, and this guy's schooling everybody.
With his hat on and his little fell off.
Oh, that's great. Hey, enjoy the off season. Hopefully we'll talk soon. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you. Good talking to you, my friend.
All right, Mark Jackson, Golden State Warriors head coach.